ECB policymaker Isabel Schnabel said that measures such as a carbon tax could boost inflation in the euro area. And as for markets, they're betting on it, with commodity-focused hedge funds seeking to capitalize on the decarbonization push. Breaking out China. China has been a synonym for emerging market investing, with Chinese companies making up around half of key stock indices. But could it become the new Japan? Bond and stock portfolio managers are looking to carve out China from their investments, seeking to make the most of idiosyncratic trends within the markets and the wide breadth of opportunities. This is Market Bites. I'm Libby Cherry, and for more content like this, follow us on your favorite platforms.
Innovation, money, and power collide in Silicon Valley and beyond. Bloomberg Technology with Emily Chang. Weekdays at 5 p.m. in New York and 2 p.m. in San Francisco.
The following is a paid program. The opinions and views expressed do not reflect those of Bloomberg LP, its affiliates, or its employees.
Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street, in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private, blockchain companies, the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators, bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. Alkimi is a decentralized replacement for the current, sometimes inefficient ad exchanges. And Alkimi has a mission to restore value for advertisers, publishers, and also users. And with me, CEO Ben Putley, to talk about Alkimi and the company and what it is you're trying to do, Ben. So welcome. And I guess let's start with an overview. What is Alkimi?
Definitely. Thank you very much for having me. That was a great explanation. I'll try and do as good a job of explaining it myself. But essentially, myself and our co-founders have worked in advertising our entire careers, and we saw lots of issues with the current centralized system. So we have developed decentralized infrastructure that allows advertisers, publishers, and users to see more value from what is a $340 billion advertising market.
Mm-hmm. Well, no doubt about it. This market has been disrupted over the past few years and continues to be. So explain how it works. So like say I'm an advertiser, how do I use Alkimi?
So essentially the programmatically traded ads work a lot like eBay, for example, whereby there is an item or a user that an advertiser wants to target with a particular ad. They will then bid on that cookie in real time, with the highest bidder then winning the auction and then delivering the ad to that user.
Okay, very interesting. And Web3, what kind of impact would that have?
So I think, like, if you look at the whole kind of Web 1, Web 2, Web 3 story, like Web 1 was simply just reading on the internet, you know, it was pictures of newspapers that were online. And then Web 2 kind of ushered in this read-write scenario where you and I could leave comments on an article, and businesses like Facebook came in and kind of actually created some value in the like, you know, like you and I have some kind of perceived value in a like as far as like social equity is concerned. And then brands now have actually also seen values in like shares, views of content on these platforms, which arguably was kind of like the first NFTs really, you know, like a non-fungible like has value defined by brands and users. You know, Web3 will really be about the user in general. You know, there's open source solutions that can be created and forked for particular use cases, and Alkimi Exchange actually brings the user into this auction for the first time, because it's our data that is sold and bought by advertisers, but we don't really see much value from that other than free content. But you get free content anywhere now, and that is not going to suffice as we move kind of into the future in the Web3 world.
Right. Well, I did say users would see some value here. So how would it work as a consumer?
So essentially, there would be no real difference to you when you visited your favorite website. It is using the existing infrastructure. So there's infrastructure called OpenRTB. It's an open source protocol that allows ads to be traded between different parties. And that really is kind of arguably the first oracle that ever existed. It was kind of transforming me as a human being into a biddable bit of data that an advertiser would use to send a particular ad to. So I think we've been left out of that. I mean, advertisers make a lot of money, Facebook and Google make a lot of money, publishers make a lot of money, and you and I, who are providing the data, don't really get much for that. And actually, we've seen annoying ads come into place. You may block an ad. You've probably seen a lot of cookie notices that now appear. And I think that the web has it's not unregulated per se, but it's like a much, much easier market to enter as an individual than anything else. Like TV, for example, you have to have a TV channel, like a website, you create a blog, you get some people reading it, all of a sudden you have a vehicle that you can actually physically monetize. So I think what we're looking to do in the Web3 world is actually reward users for surfing the internet, because you have surfaced some of your data, you have made that available for people to bid on. So you should actually be paid for surfacing that data. There's a great quote in the Netflix show, The Social Dilemma, which is, if you aren't paying for a product, you probably are the product.
You're the product.
I don't pay for Facebook, so I'm the product, right? And I think that's unfair. And it's where you've seen a lot of backlash from a lot of people around these particular brands and just surfing the web in general, like it's not just Facebook that have been bad for this, everyone's been bad. So by respecting the user, by understanding how they browse the internet on whichever device they find themselves browsing it on, and rewarding them for surfacing that data, we may see fewer ads. There'll be the ads that are there are more engaging because there's less of them, frankly, and they're not annoying you as much, and then, you get rewarded for surfacing data. It's as simple as that, I think. And that is a real lane shift for the internet in general, because it needs to be funded somehow. That is funded by advertising at the moment, and we need to make sure the internet stays around. It's an amazing invention.
Well, thank you so much. Been fascinating, and I know this is a fast-moving industry, so I look forward to updates from you.
Definitely. Thank you very much for having me. This has been great.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Cyber attacks are a global threat that affects everyone. For over 20 years, Strikeforce has developed leading cybersecurity solutions. Millions of users have put their trust in us to protect what matters most. Visit strikeforcetech.com.
Tribe is an open source design platform to empower and reward independent creators in the metaverse and the physical realm. And with me is the founder and CEO, Wahid Thomas, to explain what Faith Tribe is all about. So let's just start there, Wahid. First, welcome. Great to see you. And
thank you for having me.
Just tell me, what is Faith Tribe?
Yeah, so Faith Tribe is a community. Okay, Faith Tribe is what we used to call our community for 21 years, because Faith Connection really is a very different brand. It's a high-end brand, but it's exciting. It's the only one that really pioneered open source fashion. And what that means is we allow designers and artists from all over the world to contribute to our clothing and our fashion designs. It's very different to say Gucci or Prada, et cetera. They're very exclusive, great brands, but we like to think of ourselves as very inclusive. And so when we, for 21 years, had all these great artists in Miami, in New York, in London, and Hong Kong, we called them the Tribe. And not until last year, we were at the right place at the right time with this huge boom in NFTs and, the whole concept of individualization and customization of digital art, where we, in a perfect position to say, hey, let's pivot to Web3 and let's do something out of this Faith Tribe. And let's really scale it up so that we could attract more than just the dozens of designers that we have all over the world in different cities and actually bring it to hundreds, if not thousands of designers.
Yeah. Okay. So you started out as a fashion company, like Real World, right? And you're just pivoting, adapting. I mean, and fashion seems like a good industry for the metaverse and for Web3. It's actually good for it.
It is. It is. But, let me say this, right? We're very excited about the metaverse, but I have a very strong view, which is that the metaverse is only going to be relevant and cool when it really relates to the real world too. Okay, a lot of people think that it's just one big giant pivot. It's not, because if you think about the metaverse, they're really after experiences that we enjoy in real life. The brands that are really taking off on the metaverse are, frankly, brands that exist in the real world.
Right.
And we also believe that having a physical and digital twin is very powerful. So we're doing a very big concert on hopefully Decentraland in a few weeks. And when we do the merch, it's fun to buy the merch on the metaverse, but it's even cooler when we send that jacket or that hoodie to your doorstep as well. So you can actually wear it to a nightclub or a bar or a lounge. And so we really believe in that omni experience. Yeah. And I'll also say that we have competitors, but all our competitors are digital only. There are many open source fashion designers, but no one is also producing clothing, physical clothing for independent designers.
I love that theory of strong in the real world and strong in the metaverse, because I think you're right. I think we don't want to live I don't think we want to live entirely virtually. I think we want the metaverse as kind of a supplement to our real life, and they kind of work together to strengthen each other. So I think that's really interesting business philosophy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Now you mentioned there were some competitors, but they're not doing things in the real world. They're just strictly Web3 plays.
Yeah, the open source design platforms are all Web3. And then the real world companies, the big luxury companies that are doing NFT drops, but only for their own brand. Okay. So it's interesting. We've got the competition in the real world and we've got the competition in the digital world, but no one's actually bridging for independent designers both worlds. If you're an independent designer and you want to have a permissionless opportunity to design your own clothes, the only opportunity right now is to go onto the metaverse. But if you come to us and you actually want to have a scaled opportunity to buy leather, and inflation is going through the roof, it's very hard for an independent designer to make something that's cost effective, okay, when they're buying such small amounts of leather or knitwear or tweed. So bringing that scale and then bringing the scale to the e-commerce marketplaces so that we can actually push marketing for them. And then even minting NFTs for them is something very foreign. So many great designers have no idea. I'm a great designer. How do I actually make it in the business of fashion? So I'll leave you with one quick thing. Uber, what a great company. So Uber, if you have a car, you have the will, you get the software, and you're in business. And we want to think of it the same way. So you come onto our ecosystem, and with our token, with our community, you can access design tools, mint NFTs. We produce the physical product for you. We sell you on the metaverse and in the physical.
Well, this is all very interesting. Wahid, thank you so much. I look forward to, talking more about this, because I find the metaverse very interesting and how it can be a business play and change how we live. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Jane. Appreciate it.
Here at Glint, we're making money fairer. How? By using gold. Glint lets you store, exchange, send, and spend multiple currencies, including gold, through a simple iPhone or Android app. You can spend your currencies and your gold in small or large amounts using the Glint MasterCard. Register for your Glint account today by downloading the app from your favorite app store. Glint, the global currency.
SEUKR is a private, secure email messaging system. The company also has some new features coming out for businesses as well very soon. With me is CEO Alon Gahi to talk more about this. And Alon, I love, it seems like every time we talk once a week, and there's always some kind of hacking or security issue. And this week, it's that some Mac users think that Zoom is listening to them, even when you're not on Zoom. What do you know about that?
That's it. There's a hack every hour. We could have tons of content, but we don't have enough time. So the latest article is Mac users are reporting more and more that Zoom is recording their conversation and listening to it. So it's not surprising. It's like when WhatsApp got caught, Facebook got caught, when they found out that their contractors based overseas, mind you, were listening and recording to your conversation. And the excuse was, we want to improve your user experience. That's the most pathetic.
The language skills, too. That was another one.
It's like the language skill, the other one could be, it's the most pathetic excuse that these big tech companies are all using. And the reason why, because when they get caught, and once in a while, like Zoom did last year, they pay $100 million in fines to some European Union. They're the only ones in the EU. They're trying to hammer down on these guys, but they're the lone soldier over there. And once in a while, they pay $100 million to shut them up, and that's it. I mean, that's pathetic. So if you use Zoom, because a lot of people use it, and I have to hand it to them, they have a very good tool. So it works really well. Better than the other solutions that I have seen. So if you use Zoom and you have a Mac, what I recommend is uninstall the application completely. So don't just shut it down. You have to uninstall it, restart your computer, and then when you have another Zoom conference, just reinstall the app. It's unfortunate, but that's probably the best way you can protect yourself against people listening and recording to your conversation, from corporate secret all the way to your most intimate conversations at home with your family. And obviously, we're going to come up with solutions so people don't have to suffer like that anymore.
Awesome. And we're going to do what we can to get the word out so people know there is a alternative to what we have.
Sorry to cut you. And on the video conferencing, we are launching SEUKR Pro, which is our alternative to video conferencing like Zoom. That will come probably at the end of Q2 or in July. It'll be about $35 to $50 per person. It will have the video conferencing, the voice encryption, email, and messaging. So the whole gamut. And we're launching SEUKR Voice, which is voice encryption. That's coming in Q2 sometime. We're hoping in the month of May. So exciting stuff happening. And finally, you won't have to give your entire data to China or Facebook when you make a video conferencing tool and you discuss people's medical information or your company's, top secret IP that you developed. And it won't go to an outsider for sale because we guarantee that we don't data mine it and your information belongs to you.
Okay. Well, thank you. I look forward to more updates and looking forward to meeting you in person very soon.
Likewise. Looking forward to it. Very excited.
Very great. Thanks, Alon, so much.
Here at Glint, we're making money fairer. How? By using gold. Glint lets you store, exchange, send, and spend multiple currencies, including gold, through a simple iPhone or Android app. You can spend your currencies and your gold in small or large amounts using the Glint MasterCard. Register for your Glint account today by downloading the app from your favorite app store. Glint, the global currency.
Hi, everyone. This is New to the Street. I'm Anna Berry. Today, we're speaking with Sonar Resonance Labs Limited. We have Michael Wood, the Chief Financial Officer, and Cristiano Trofei, the Chief Innovation Officer. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hi, Anna. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Okay. So you've created a software that has simplified our crypto workflow, but you also claim to keep us sane throughout navigating it. Now, that definitely piqued my interest. I'm very intrigued. Can you tell me about what you've built at Sonar?
Yeah, for sure. So what makes us different, and actually our product, is, I think, the general approach. So we are not the only ones working on usability, although much of the project you see out there are still focused on foundational aspects. So safety, speed, and scalability, the crypto trilemma. But you already see some actors working on making things more easy to be used in crypto. But if you look better, what you see is actually that companies are building these walled gardens, these golden cages, where you actually have just a small selection of opportunities from the decentralized world. So actually you have the idea of being exposed to crypto, where actually you are not seeing but a tiny speck of the complete Web3. So what we are doing is to change the approach from the overprotective parent that limits yourself, not to make you risk anything, but we are trying, let's say, the cool teacher approach. So educating yourself through your path. So not limiting, but progressively disclose complexity as we help you to grow as an investor, as a crypto trader or interactor, because actually the financial aspects are just a part of it. So what we do is to give a bit more credit to the user, and what we want to do is to actually make crypto and the blockchain accessible, not the idea of crypto, and not actually telling you, okay, buy some crypto, but actually we are holding those, and you just can look here and there, and then that's it. But you are not accessing to the plethora of opportunities that this decentralized world is giving you.
Well, you said complexity a few times, and there is so much out there when it comes to information on crypto. Tell me how you're bringing it all together, especially with some of these tools that gives folks like myself trying to navigate the system, that DYOR, how we can do our own research and make informed decisions out there. Tell me how.
Well, I mean, in and of itself, the question itself is a little bit complex, because you say DYOR, do your own research. I mean, the one thing is that cryptocurrency is really in its own universe. So we did have traditional finance, you see stock market, bonds, all these things. And with cryptocurrency, it operates a little bit differently, because, rather than being a physical asset like a brick and mortar company, where you can look at inventory and stock, and you can look at sales and income statements and all these things, we really haven't evolved so deeply into that traditional method with cryptocurrency. So trying to find the right information, what's important and what's actually impacting the value of a token or of a cryptocurrency or of a crypto asset is inherently a little bit more complex, because it's fairly new. But with what we're doing is we do know where you can go and where you can find pieces of information. Now, this isn't any crazy knowledge. The problem is if somebody wants to get into the cryptoverse and look for these pieces of information, you end up using 6, 7, 8, 20 different tools to try and research an asset. And with the speed that everything moves, because of course it's digital, with the complexity of all of the references that you would have to cross-reference to really understand an asset, doing that by yourself is something that, as Cristiano and you both said, it is complex. But if you can bring all of that into one platform, if you can digest it and put it out in a readable format, this is something that Sonar is bringing to cryptocurrency. The idea is to be able to do your own research in a timely and efficient manner, because as of now, it can take far too long to really research what you want to what's going behind the asset. You're spending too much time trying to just find out basic information rather than actually interacting with cryptocurrency. So that's more of what Sonar is bringing to cryptocurrency and to common investors like you or like others.
Wonderful. It seems like you've really created a great product to educate people and give them an opportunity to join in the cryptoverse in a smart, informed way. So I definitely will be following along in your journey and look forward to interviewing you in the future once you fully roll out. So thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us on New to the Street.
Thank you so much, Anna. It was a pleasure.
Here at Glint, we're making money fairer. How? By using gold. Glint lets you store, exchange, send, and spend multiple currencies, including gold, through a simple iPhone or Android app. Register for your Glint account today by downloading the app from your favorite app store.
Ariva is a travel platform that has its own cryptocurrency that you can use to book travel. You can also have a social ecosystem as well with other people who are passionate about travel. So with me is a PR advisor for Ariva, Ashley Stoyanovsky, to tell me more about the company. So you and I talked a little bit before about how we both love to travel. Yeah. We're both into cryptocurrency, so this is a perfect fit. So let's just give me an overall view of Ariva.
So Ariva essentially marries tourism with cryptocurrency. Currently, right now, we're working on the Vera Wonderland, which is a metaverse within our project.
Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about that. So explain that. So this is a metaverse. So is that like virtual travel? What happens?
Yeah, well, you're spot on. So we're super excited. We're calling it a Vera Wonderland. It's a magical world, and of course, the main theme is travel. Even a time travel will be possible, and anything is possible in this world. But of course, our main theme is travel and tourism. So there are so many features in this world: concert venues, cinemas, shopping centers, voice and text chats, that you'll be super surprised. Our first teasers are coming up soon, and land sales will be announced, so stay tuned.
Now, you're also preparing an NFT art collection, and that is related to the Ariva metaverse?
Yeah. So actually, before the metaverse, the plan was to have an NFT art collection. We did a vote on Twitter, and the response was just phenomenal. We have a very interesting art series coming up, and we're glad we did. So, we'll be announcing that shortly. Also, on top of that, the central character of our NFT art collection is the Riva Man. The idea of the Riva Man was it's essentially a character that reflects every segment of society and every gender. He's innovative, he's genderless, he's a music lover, he's an animal lover, and most of all, he's a travel lover. You'll see a Riva Man on different journeys in different countries and his ongoing adventures. It's an exciting journey ahead.
And then there's also a staking project. So why did you need to do a staking project? Are you listed on exchanges with the staking? Explain all that.
Yeah, so we did have a lot of exchange listings in such a short time. As the dear community member once said, the team is working hard. Some exchanges are actually listing Ariva without us doing anything at all. And it's a great feeling. It's great to see that institutions are believing in us. And each exchange has its own users and followers. So this is so important to us. Reaching as many users as we can is our target. So as you said, many exchanges have staking systems, so why not ours? Thank you so much.
The proceeding was a paid program. The opinions and views expressed do not reflect those of Bloomberg LP, its affiliates, or its employees.
The questions about risks, for example, those issues around macroeconomics, when you think about the healthcare scare, cyber continues to be one that's very expensive as you've had much more digitization and expenditure in the digital space.
Hesitation was okay, but that thought you had?
When companies work human, people stay through anything.
Your quick thinking saved us. You saw something that changed everything. You may think we don't see you, but I'm so glad you were the one in the room with me.
When people are recognized, they feel seen. they feel they belong.
Good job.
Because without the human, it's just work.
In recent weeks, the Italian government has introduced new curbs that seek to stem activities for the unvaccinated. Italy currently has one of the highest vaccination rates in Europe. About 90% of the population above 12 has received 2 doses of COVID-19 vaccine. But as the number of cases has been rising in recent weeks, Prime Minister Mario Draghi has been seeking to convince even the last people to get a COVID shot.
E non dobbiamo mai perdere di vista una constatazione, che gran parte dei problemi che abbiamo oggi dipende dal fatto che ci sono dei non vaccinati. Persone non vaccinate hanno una probabilità molto maggiore di sviluppare la malattia e forme gravi della malattia.
A proof of vaccination or a proof that the person recovered from COVID is called Super Green Pass. A Super Green Pass is required also to drink an espresso at the bar. I'm going for coffee in Central Rome.